This is one that we hadn't actually intended for the videos. However, we've had so many people request it that we're happy to do that. Firstly, we were shooting with a strobe previously to this. We'd been waiting for the sun to go down, and previous to that we'd been using yellow cellophane over the strobe to try and get a really lovely glowy sunny look. I was a little bit disappointed because I would have liked some stars, I guess, and to work with that, and maybe even work with strobe on them in the sunlight, in the moonlight there. But instead what we've done is I've digitally added the moon in there myself afterwards, and that's what I'm going to show you. Firstly, however, I just need to prepare this file. So all I'm going to do is go down and add in a whole lot of warmth and a little bit of a tint. Just might play with that though, and minus the exposure and raise that contrast right up. Might raise the highlights and the whites as well. Minus. There we go. So now we've got a lot more of that sky in. Okay, so now all I need to do is grab a brush and very carefully with a small brush is just go in and lighten them back up so I can see the subjects a little better. Okay. And maybe new one on the grass a little bit as well. Now this is actually the animal handler over here. He was lying down there very close by, and I think I'll leave him where he is for the time being, but we will have to crop him out in a minute. Okay, I'm just going to raise the highlights a little more just to bring some detail back into that, and now I'm going to take that into Photoshop. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop, and what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'd like this to be a square. So I'm going to select all. There's another way you could do this, but this is just how I did it. File copy, file new, and I'm just going to make that the same height as it is the width. So 5760. And I'm going to paste that on. Okay, so this is actually the working file. Now all I'd like to do is duplicate that layer, and I'm going to free transform that. Get in here actually and just delete that off. Okay, and delete here too. So that's added in the sky fairly quickly. There is a little bit of work I need to do, but now I'm going to get that 5x5 crop and just crop into how I'd actually really like it to be, which is just about there. So now I'm going to crop that. Okay, so now I have the shape. If I merge that, Control Alt E and merge those, oops, I need two of them, don't I? Control Alt and E. I now have a merged layer there. Okay, so keeping in mind that I did just do a quick joining together of the backgrounds there, I'm just going to patch that across. Okay. Now, there is an element that obviously wasn't in the photo, for those of you that know the one, and that's the moon. Now, when I was in Texas a little while back, I looked up one night and there was a moon in the clouds, and I thought, I'll take a photo of that. That's a little bit unusual, and I'll use it later. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm just going to, I've opened the file, and I'm just going to drag that onto our photograph here. Okay. And put it where I'd like it to be, and then press overlay, and it's actually going to help with the clouds. There we see. Okay, now all I need to do is make that a mask, and I'm going to just erase that off on the areas that I don't want it at 100%, and that's down here. Okay, obviously on the subjects. Erase that off them as well. Okay. Certainly don't want it to look like I've cut and pasted them in there by masking that. So I've got to be careful. Okay. So all of a sudden I now have a moon in the image, and also it's helped with the sky. Now I added a vignette. So if I do another merge, select all and do a Control-Alt-E, I'm actually going to just grab the burn tool and just burn that back a little. Okay, there we have it. Now I do need to make the sky down the bottom a little more orange, tone this sky to be a little bit more green at the top, and play with that moon, but we're getting there. Okay, first things first, I'm going to do a solid colour, and I'll just make that black, and I'm going to reduce the opacity of that down. There we go. And I might just erase that back off on our subject here. I need to keep that detail in there, and on his ears as well. Then I'm going to do a hue saturation mask and grab the reds and reduce that right down. And again, I will grab a black brush and erase that off on him. And in here. And that's how I got that orange through there, and through here as well. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to that black fill and just erase that off as well. Down here. Would like to keep some of the detail back here. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in and do a hue saturation mask. Okay, and flip back on screen and Control I and grab a brush and make it white. And I'm just going to remove the colour from the moon. That was messily done. I need my Wacom. Okay, so let's try that again. Move the colour from my moon. And reduce the opacity down for these end bits. Make it a smaller brush. Using the bracket key. Okay. And then there we go. Bigger brush. Just reduce the colour on the edges there. Alright. And a colour balance. And at this point I really am just playing it by ear to see what I'd like to see happen. It's probably not going to be exactly as the done file that I've already blogged, but it'll be fairly close. Okay, so I'm looking at this and I can already see, actually let's do a hue saturation. There we go. Okay, I think that's fairly close to the done file. One thing that I from memory probably did, just looking at that bottom part here, is add a little bit. Control-Alt-E. Okay, is add a little bit to this area in regards to warmth. Actually might take that off because that's actually already got it. And I might actually do that using color balance. There we go, and then grab it all again here and then add curves. Okay, alright. Well, that will give you a fairly big idea of what I did anyway. He needs a little bit of lightening up here though. Could do that via curves. So now it'll just be a matter of tweaking it. There we go. can erase that off to how I like it. But that's it, and that was the wrong colour. I hope you like this video. A little bit of a behind the scenes look at how I got that photograph. I'll see you in the next video.